CentralValleyTalk.com.
And welcome back to Let's Talk Business here on CentralValleyTalk.com. I'm Mike Scott. We're continuing our political theme today, talking with another of the candidates in the upcoming elections. Running for the 16th Congressional District, this is Republican Joanna Garcia Botelho, who was with us a couple of months ago, right?
Yes.
You've been out there. How many pairs of shoes have you worn out since then?
I've been alternating between like 3 pairs, so hopefully they'll all last through the end of June 3rd.
Okay. For the folks who never saw our first interview, why do you want to run for Congress?
Well, I'm running because I'm a Chowchilla almond farmer, and I started water well drilling a couple years ago in 2011. I got licensed, and I'm not happy with the leadership up there. I don't know what they're doing, but they're not doing what we need them to be doing. So
Water well drilling. Are you hitting any water, or is it pretty dry out there?
you hit water. Sometimes you got to go deeper than others, but
Yeah.
it's not sustainable.
Do you do the witching?
I don't do
water
the
witching?
witching.
No?
My husband knows how to do it, but I don't think we would want to do it because I don't want to be liable for not finding water.
So, how many acres of almonds do you grow?
We have a 40-acre parcel with 36 acres of
Yeah.
trees.
And water is critical for those trees because you've invested years and years into
Yes.
growing them before they even start producing, right?
Tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands
Yeah.
of dollars.
You
So
can't let a year go by and say, oh, we're not going to water them this year.
It won't come
It'll wipe
back.
out the crop, yeah. So you understand the drought situation.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you think Congress can do about our water situation?
Well, there's a lot that Congress can do. I think one thing they need to do is they need to work on a balancing for the Endangered Species Act, and they need to come up with something that will hit home for both city dwellers who care more about the furry rabbit and for farmers who care more about growing our trees and feeding the world.
Well,
So
I
we've
care
got to
about
balance
both, though.
that.
I care about both.
And there's some people who care about both, and
Yeah.
so we need to balance that. But the problem with the Endangered Species Act is it's not been modified in 40 years. And so if you think about scientific advancement and the fact of being able to mitigate the damage to particular species, you can do that now. In 1972, I get it. You can't, or 74 whenever it officially got passed. You can't do that. You had no idea. You just knew it was harming a species, so you ceased and desist. But now, I believe that both sides, the state or the government or whoever's protecting the animal and the people who are wanting to do like a dam project can say, look, this animal's getting impacted, but here's the plan that we've came up with these different scientists who are qualified and how we're going to mitigate the damage to that single species. Mm-hmm. And then I think you can balance it with the fact that there's other endangered species and the human species and the economy that will be benefited. So you've got to say how much harm is okay in order to help, do this much benefit. And I think a judge should be afforded the discretion to do that. And the way it's written right now, they're not.
Are we ever going to see more dams in California? That's such a huge undertaking.
I pray
We
regularly
need it.
that we work on that. There's one thing that really hit home for me. We recently, since I started this campaign, we got the opportunity to drill in Merced County, and my standing water is at 257 feet. It's going to vary wherever you live. There's some.
You mean you have to drill down that far to hit water?
Once you drill down and you hit water, the level it's sitting at when you're pulling from it. So
257.
It's 257.
Now, is that down from previous years?
My standing water used to be at 100 feet in
Wow.
2007.
Wow.
So 7 years, we've got 157 feet on my own property that I've seen with my own 2 eyes falling.
That's
So
not
that's
good.
devastating.
That-
That's scary. But I went over to Merced County where they've never hardly had any wells. They've always used surface water. The government recently took away everybody's allocation, so now we're drilling. But their standing water was at 25 feet. Why is there so much higher? Because they've never had to use it before. So I'm adamant that we don't need to dive in and regulate groundwater. We need to dive in and get more surface water. It'll regulate itself if there's an alternative. You need to have a viable alternative. So that's kind of my hope for this race.
Okay. Why did most people running for political office start out at a small local office first and then build their way up. You're shooting right for the Congress.
Well, I went to law school at San Joaquin College of Law after attending Fresno State, and the Constitution said I could. and I decided that
I'm not saying you shouldn't. I just wondered why.
that I could. So I decided I would.
The heck with all those smaller steps, huh? Go.
Well, I really feel like, especially my 8 months of being in this campaign, both parties, when you get to the big money factors of it, I think they're both bad for the everyday person. They're both trying to, buy someone out and prevent you from doing your job as a fiduciary for the entire district as a whole, for everyone that lives and works in the community. And so I think as you work your way up, you make those friends, you get those favors, and you can't help but be another Jim Costa. You can't help but have 35 years of being indoctrinated into office and having the contacts he has. And, I think you get burnt out. I am told to be a smidge naive in some of the stuff that I think I can accomplish, but I think that's what makes America America, is the fact that you can be naive, you can hope to accomplish anything, and when you get there you might not accomplish everything, but that hope that you started with, that beginning candidacy, I think is what makes us unique.
Are you running because you want to be there doing things, or because you're just angry about some of the things Jim Costa has done?
Well, I will say that I'm a little biased. There's a train that's going to potentially bulldoze my house when it gets to the
high-speed rail
Madera area, and it's not 100% yet, and that's okay. And I'm all for helping society become better, but I don't think that the train in the Central Valley is the right step to help society become better right now, especially given the economic crash we suffered after we voted for this. The cost of it is far greater than what they projected on the ballot. And so I am mad, but that's not why I'm running. I think that I can take a lot of my knowledge as a farmer, as a water well driller, as a realtor, and from getting my education locally here in the community and seeing it work, I think I can take that and bring it to Congress and accomplish great things. And I'd like to try to do that.
Yeah. I love talking about high-speed rail because I travel the world, and most of the rest of the world has had high-speed rail for years, and they build miles and miles of it every month. We can't even build a little stretch here for under billions of dollars. What is wrong with us?
Well, they've had it for a long time, so they probably built it back when the dollar was, deflated. So if you
But America's supposed to be the big leader of the world.
Yeah, but we're also unique in stuff. The way things work in Europe is a little bit different. I have had the opportunity, fortunately, to go to London and see the tube system, and that is why I voted for the train. I don't have a problem with a train, but I would have thought it would make sense to run it where existing tracks are, near them. To possibly take what we have in place already, Amtrak, and maybe try to build a tunnel through the Grapevine to be able to bridge that gap, because nobody seriously wants to sit on a bus going up the Grapevine watching cars pass them at double the speed. That's not, economical. So I get the train, but if I was running the state of California and I was doing this train, I would have done it from LA to San Diego, or from San Francisco to Sacramento, or from San Francisco to San Jose, to say, does this work? Here's our test. Let's see if this works. Not from Bakersfield to Fresno. I will tell you right now, I'm not going to go drive from Chowchilla to Fresno, hop on a train, and take it to Bakersfield. I'm not sure what good that would do me, other than, Bakersfield I'm sure is lovely, but...
You know what, I go to Bakersfield quite a bit, and I would probably ride the train. The problem is when you get to Bakersfield, you either have to rent a car, or if you know somebody there, have them pick you up. That's the problem on the other end. You're stuck with no place to go.
Well, and that's why I think you could do, get a way to get the train on the other side of the Grapevine, and people would use that. Because I fly from San Francisco to LA. I've done that before, or Sacramento to LA, or San Diego. And then you rent a car. So I would take the train the same as I would fly if it was easier, or if there was one nearby. But we don't have that as an option, and we're still not going to have that as an option for probably decades.
Okay. You've been handing these out all over the district?
I've been handing them out, walking around, doing what we can. Hopefully other people hand them out for me. I have like 10,000 of them. Yeah,
and this is really your only form of advertising? You don't have a huge budget?
I don't. I have a website. I have a Facebook. I have my cell phone. I take calls. I've been going to as many events as I can go to. Anything that's free, we go to.
And you have CentralValleyTalk.com.
I do. I do. Yes, it's been fun. I got to knock on someone's door, and they gave me a story about them being a yellow dog Democrat, and I didn't know what that was. And he said that he would rather vote for the yellow dog than a Republican, and I got the door closed in my face. And the gentleman later found me at the end of the court and apologized. And we started talking, and I said, can you do me a favor? When you vote this June, I know you can't vote for any of the Republicans because you're a yellow dog Democrat, but would you write in yellow dog? And would you please vote for the yellow dog instead of voting for Mr. Jim Costa one more time? I think the yellow dog might fight a little bit better for some of our needs.
There you go. There you go.
You see what you can do.
All right, Joanna Garcia Botelho, one of the 6 candidates running for 16th Congressional District here in the Central Valley. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Best of luck in the primary, and we'll be back with more on CentralValleyTalk.com.
Hi, I'm Keith Fagundes. I'd like your vote on June 3rd.